As we all know that most enterprises already have infrastructure running VMware, Kubernetes, and multiple clouds, but managing it all under unified governance is really or nearly impossible. Emma is launching Brownfield Onboarding to bring existing infrastructure under one control plane without migrating or disruption. And today we have with us Dirk Alshuth, CMO at Emma, to talk just about that. Dirk, first of all, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get into the problem that I just talked about, let's talk about Emma. What is Emma? How old is the company? What do you folks do?
Emma is a Luxembourgish company. Emma is founded in 2021, and our focus is really to help companies to deal with the complexity of multi-cloud distributed infrastructure. Be it today we're at KubeCon, so where the topic is AI, but also with existing infrastructure like brownfields, but also new deployments when it comes to sovereignty and all of different types of operating models. That's what Emma do. So Emma is a definition. We would go as a cloud operations platform, and our focus is very much distributed infrastructure.
Since you mentioned distributed infrastructure, and we are here in Europe, of course, I will talk about KubeCon announcement, but because of the whole geopolitical crisis going on, we are talking a lot about sovereign cloud, sovereign AI, sovereign data. Europe is also building its own alternative to a lot of US-based cloud-based solutions. So can you talk about, when you talk about distributed, how does that idea fits into, and this is not just a European phenomena. Asia is also looking at it. So talk about that.
There's different layers of sovereignty, which is quite clear, and every company has to choose for themselves what exactly they need in terms of sovereignty. Starting with where Emma is helping is basically allowing companies to deploy the infrastructure on providers of their choice. Provider of their choice means you can perfectly stay with applications in hyperscalers, while you have different applications or workloads that must go into more sovereign environments because of the sensitivity of the data. And I said more sovereign because there's also gradations to it. There is the hyperscaler sovereign cloud in Europe, where you have also a certain data residency and sovereignty which is linked to that, or you have to, or you can work with European cloud providers like IONOS, OVHcloud, and others, where you are in a sovereign environment.
Interestingly, what you mentioned was that we are here at KubeCon and we are talking a lot about AI. Yes. But KubeCon was originally about Kubernetes. Last week was NVIDIA GTC, which was all about AI. But here we are also hearing a lot about AI. What kind of announcements you folks made here at KubeCon?
Today we announced our Brownfield onboarding capabilities. Emma traditionally served customers who have needs for greenfield, new deployments, but of course there's a lot of brownfield out there, and for us that's an important evolution, because as from today we will also be able to serve customers that they discover their brownfield estate, they bring it under governance and visibility into Emma without migrating the workloads, and govern it next to what's coming for them in their evolution. Brownfield is, dare to say, heritage, is what is existing. New deployments may go into sovereign cloud providers. European sovereign cloud providers may go onto neo clouds for AI developments, or a blend of everything. And all of that will be greenfield, brownfield under one governed estate in future.
When greenfield is easy, but brownfield is really hard to solve. So talk a bit about the brownfield onboarding, the process. Yes. And also are others also doing it, or you folks are pioneer, and what is unique about your approach? So 3 questions bundled into one.
There are definitely solutions that already have brownfield onboarding on that. One of the, I think, differentiators for us is that we are able to combine now brownfield, greenfield into one dashboard under one platform. The process is quite easy. It's a discovery process. It's connection of accounts to Emma platform, and it's an automated discovery process, which is not a all-in process, but it's a selective process. That means that the user, upon discovery, can still decide which resources need to be visible or which resources should not be visible. That's part of the process. And based on that, the platform does its work, and you will see it appear in the dashboard to govern. What makes it unique? I think when you look at Emma, it's the variety and the broadness of the services that are in Emma. It is, you bring your brownfield into Emma, you will be able to do the governance on it, you will be able to do cost optimization. We can look into connecting it also with our own multi-cloud networking backbone, and that's the broadness of the offering that Emma brings to the table.
I also want to understand some of the pain points, organizations, teams who are managing, existing infrastructure, which is spread across, of course, VMware, Kubernetes, and of course, multiple cloud, hybrid clouds. What are some of those pain points and challenges which customers facing? Some could be common and some could be, let's not talk about Neo Cloud because that's very, very unique. Yeah. But what are the challenges that you see?
The challenges, I think, is in the fragmentation, what we see today. There are so many different needs a business needs to serve to, by sourcing new infrastructure, by bringing in also new skills for new infrastructure with different providers. Different environments have also different ways of managing it and optimizing it. There are so many tools out there that do one thing at a time, sometimes for a couple of providers, but not for all of them. So that's a fragmentation which always leaves companies with blind spots in their operations.
Can you also talk about how does Emma help customers kind of unify governance without forcing them to migrate or, of course, re-provisioning everything?
The governance process at Emma is a centralized process. That means that for a organization or for specific projects, governance is defined, policies are defined, and whatever happens within those projects, those policies are auto-applied. These are guardrails, these are security groups, there are specific policies also around talking about sovereignty, the possibility to say, well, within a specific project, you cannot use specific cloud providers or specific regions, or based on role-based access control. You can also limit the access to certain projects. All of that is centralized. All of that is managed by administrators. Also, when workflows come into play, while they are visible to all what's available, the only certain workflows are available in those projects where they are supposed to be available.
Is there any play for Emma for those who are, of course, dealing with AI workloads or building AI inferencing infrastructure? If yes, what is that?
Well, in Emma, we have traditionally provided the services around CPUs and VMs. Now we are also integrating the possibility to provide organizations with the compute power for AI. So being able to source and access GPUs from different providers, including our own in Luxembourg at our data center, provisioning them, managing them, optimizing them, and also we're bringing workflows for inference in future.
Excellent. The challenge is that hardware is hard. That's where the word hard
Yes.
comes from. And it's expensive.
Yes.
And it's limited quantity.
Yes.
So how are you also kind of commoditizing it and making it more democratized, more accessible?
Yes, accessibility is the most important word. When you have access to something, you can commoditize it. One of the things we see also from the many conversations that we have, because scarcity makes also when you have people want to talk to you, want to see what you can help them with, is that the requests we get very often do not match what people really need. So it's larger accelerators requested, but actually the need is for small accelerators. So we help also with our professional services to balance that and see what we have in our data center to provide them with, or where we can provide through access to other cloud providers.
And how closely do you work with customers? I mean, if you look at new cloud, every use case is kind of unique. That
Yes.
the name comes from. But in general, is it more like a turnkey solution? They can come sign up, or you actually work with them, with the teams, understand their needs, and then work with them?
There are two ways of working with Emma. One is self-service. If you know what you're doing, if you know what you need, if you know what you want, you sign up, you get your self-service, you can deploy. But then the use cases is part of where our professional services team is engaging with the customer and making sure to understand what exactly do they need, why they are asking for specific infrastructure, how would they manage and operate that. And we go as far as helping them also determine where they need to deploy and how to deploy, or what kind of process and workflows they should deploy to make it run smoothly and cost efficiently.
Is it possible for you to share some use cases without naming, if possible, just to understand the kind of, when we talk about sovereign cloud, when we talk about sovereign AI, sovereign data, what kind of use cases are you seeing? And from your perspective, which you see as easy use cases versus most exciting use cases?
Specific use cases could be, for example, that organizations with a larger cloud footprint and an engagement with a specific provider wants to gain leverage and wants to really also see how they can get more flexibility by spinning up a new provider and working out. So the biggest challenge here is, of course, these are two different providers, different skill sets, and Emma is then helping them basically to bridge, to start it up. So the platform teams will be using Emma to deploy already on providers or other providers in a very quick way. The possibility also on cloud cost management, of course, very important. FinOps is all around. We focus on cloud cost management, but the capability of bringing your on-prem, your clouds, your different clouds, even the European sovereign clouds within the platform into that cloud cost management thinking, because you will see what you have on-prem, you will see your hyperscalers, which is today nothing very special anymore. But the fact that you can also bring, for European companies, very important, the European cloud providers under this cost management scheme is a differentiator.
Now, earlier we talked about how closely you work with customers. Now, I also want to understand how important is partnership for you? How do you engage with partners to enable sovereign cloud, data sovereignty, AI sovereignty?
Let's take a look at Emma as an organization. We're about 90 people. Let's take 15 people as more general functions, and the rest are engineers. But how it goes in companies like us, growing companies, also our engineers, they are engaged with professional services. So with use cases coming in, that means also we really support our customers, advising them, guiding them, helping them, not only saying this is what you need, but really working with them to see how can we help you to have the best setup, how can we run with this, with the new workflows, and how can you make the best cost-efficient operations out of it. Partnerships, for example, we have a global alliance with PwC. One of the partners that chose Emma as the technology that allowing them to use Emma in their global or transformation projects when it comes to cloud operations, or also changes how they operate in the cloud.
Now, of course, we are here. You already made a lot of announcement, and we will talk about those things when they're ready, but just tease us, what else is Emma working on?
Well, what I'm working on is broadening the spectrum around sovereignty. There's more countries, there's more providers, so we need to look into what makes sense to an European audience and a local audience. That is one. Secondly, also, how do we help customers to gain the benefits of AI accelerated, so provide them with the compute they need, but also the capabilities to optimize and manage that, so the whole operation around it. And then there's, of course, also, there's the US. We're looking also in how do we work with US customers, helping their scale of AI, and also how can we use our European basis with regards to GDPR and data residency and sovereignty, also for the needs of US customers when it comes to state laws and others.
If somebody walks into you here at the conference and asks, why should I use Emma?
Why should I use Emma? Because I tend to say, well, we help them solve the problems they may not aware they will have in future. When you look back, when we started Emma, multi-cloud was more an accident. It was by merger and acquisition, and today it's strategic. Nobody talked, or there was no more conversations around sovereignty in Europe. A year ago, it was probably somewhere there. Today, it is a boardroom topic. So that's where we are today. Last year at reInvent, AWS and Google, they announced the interconnectivity. We already have our own private multi-cloud networking backbone doing this since a while. So this is what I would say is like, Emma can help you to overcome the challenges of the future already today. And that's what I would tell the people.
And how can they get started with Emma?
How can you get all this? Self-service. Go to the website, sign up, try the demo, or get a demo with our sales guys. It's quite easy. Emma is in principle made for two audiences: no code for the non-engineers, and integration with Terraform and other tech they love to use for the engineers. So there's both sides can start working today.
Dirk, thank you so much for joining me today and share your insights on Emma and the problem you're solving, not just for DevOps sovereignty, but also brownfield deployment. Thanks for those insights, and I look forward to chat with you again. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.